Okay, our regular weekly updates about AI. It was a slow week because of holidays, but there are still some events. This is me as usual. And well, the most visible event this week is that New York Times is suing OpenAI and Microsoft. So this is a link for the 69 pages document, which I actually recommend you to at least look through, because it shows a lot of examples where they show how ChatGPT gives an answer. Like, you can ask ChatGPT what New York Times wrote on a particular subject, and they provide the article verbatim. So they compare side by side. It's absolutely amazing. I didn't realize that. And New York Times claim that this hurts their business because people go to ChatGPT, they get all information they need, and they then don't visit New York Times, and they lose subscribers, they lose money. So there is a very good video by Matt. Hold on, let me show you. Yeah, by Matt Berman, which I really recommend you to listen, because he goes in detail through the document and all the claims. But this is the short like condensation. So, well, first of all, Elon Musk stated that OpenAI and almost everybody else are lying about not using copyrighted data. So New York Times is the single biggest proprietary data set in the common crawl used to train GPT, and this document provides a lot of proof. So New York Times describes how difficult and expensive it is to create high quality materials, and that OpenAI and Microsoft are just using them without paying anything back. Claims that OpenAI has trained their model on their materials, on New York Times materials, and even gave them more attention because of their good quality. GPT can even recite whole New York Times articles verbatim. Thus, people don't have to go to original articles, and New York Times is losing visitors, subscribers, and money. OpenAI was removing the copyright information from articles before using them for training, and this is definitely illegal. This is just clear violation. OpenAI and Microsoft has included their models in all their apps and systems, building trillions of dollars in value based on New York Times materials and profiting from it. AI can hallucinate, and it can hallucinate articles and attribute them to New York Times. And there are examples where it is misinformation related to health recommendations like cancer, lymphoma, buying recommendations, and so on. So this is really hurts, well, it hurts users, but also hurts New York Times. There is a term, fair use doctrine. The gist of it that in some cases it's justified to use copyrighted material, and so this is also discussed. Now, what may happen, haven't happened yet, I understand, but Midjourney will most probably be sued by Disney. Midjourney can generate images, copies of all Disney characters, like literally frame by frame. And yeah, so this will be another big legal case. Okay, Turing test passed in 2023. Well, some people claim this is the case. So this is Alan Turing and his famous Turing test. So a human talks to somebody via messages, and he doesn't know if he talks to a machine or to a human, so he tries to figure it out by asking questions. And if computer fools the human evaluator into believing that it's human, then this computer passed the test. Well, in some cases, people saying, well, it really passed the test. Well, computer can pretend to be a stupid human or a child. because the Turing test doesn't claim that the responding computer has to be very smart and intelligent. But then, of course, imagine you ask the question and the computer answers, I cannot answer your question because it's a copyrighted something, or because of like this is a harmful, or something like that. Or you ask the question in 64-bit encoding, which computers understand but humans don't, right? I mean, there are tricks. So now when you're formulating the Turing test, you have to be more careful, like how exactly to formulate it. But yeah, I think as far as intelligence, we're not there. As far as formally passing tests, well, some people believe we already passed, some people believe we're not there, but very close. Turing test extra credit. Convince the examiner that he is a computer. Okay, so here we have Sam Altman, Summer Klaus, and this is the tweet. Merry Christmas, GPT, and ChatGPT gives some reasonable response. Big network is not the answer. Well, people were saying for a long time that the progress with large language models over the last years mostly was just by making bigger and bigger and bigger networks, throwing more and more data at it. But it looks like it slowed down. So make the network bigger and throw more data at it can only go so far with the current architectures, and we're already seeing significant diminishing returns for this behavior. So this is by Harrison Kinsley, who I adore. Like, he's a YouTuber. I highly recommend to subscribe to his channel. Google wanted to blow GPT-4 out of the water with Gemini. If they could have done it by throwing more data and compute at it, they would have. And as you know, Gemini couldn't produce better results, so GPT-4 is still better than Gemini. Data curation can help, but solution is probably in new models and methods of optimization. Okay, AI dominates investors' interest in 2023. Bitcoin and crypto surpassed in searches and funding. So this is interest over time, and you see the blue is, I guess, AI, and you see this is 2022, and here's where now. Okay, 2023 at a glance. I found this picture by Every Pixel. It doesn't contain all information, but it's a nice picture. So it goes month by month, starting with March. So unfortunately, it doesn't include February, where original Llama by Meta was created. But it was not open source back then, but it leaked. And then in March, llama.cpp project started on GitHub. And by the time Llama 2 was released in July, there was already a lot of GitHub code to run it, fine-tune it, and so on. So we have BART, GPT-4, Adobe Firefly, Midjourney. You know what, I will not go through all this image. You can probably find it. I really like Mistral, which they actually got money in June, I think, not in May. In September, they released their first tiny model, 7B, and in December, the Mistral. And now actually the next model, the medium-sized model, is available online and early access. I spoke about it last week. 01.ai coming from China, and Stability AI also has large language model, although they're mostly famous for their diffusion models, image generating models. Stability AI CEO Ahmad Mastak. So this is his Stability ICO. There will be no human programmers in 5 years. Many believe AI will bring the end to the world, but Ahmad Mastak believes AI and humans can change it. Okay, and he somewhere, like, I don't know, he cites that 41% of all code on GitHub right now is AI generated. I don't know where this number is coming from. Doesn't seem to be like, I mean, it's too big, but I don't know. Okay, this is a very, very good article. First of all, Mark Hennings. I try to give you good authors, like he's really good. He has the website entry.ai.com and his LinkedIn, his YouTube channel. And this is one of his articles where he describes LoRA and QLoRA. So LoRA is low rank adaptation. So this is the way to train the models, to fine-tune the models. So let's say you have your large language model, which has transformer architecture, which contains multiple layers, and you don't change those weights of this model. But what you do on every layer, you add some additional weights, and then you combine them together to get the fine-tuned model. So fine-tuned model actually contains two files, the original model and the fine-tuning weights, which may be in separate file. Okay, and then these weights, instead of being stored in big matrices as the original model, they're using a matrix decomposition to do something like this. So when you multiply column by row, you get a square matrix. So this way, it's a smaller number of numbers, much smaller. And this has rank 1 because it's just one column. And this is rank 2. And so on. You can increase the rank. The size of this matrix, well, it may be 8,000, 16,000, or whatever. Nowadays they go to 200,000 and more. So these are huge matrices, but you can make them much smaller, but by doing this decomposition. And then actually, should you use rank 1 or 2 or 8 or 500 or whatever? So this is the original article, or QLoRA. I mean, there is LoRa in 21, and this is actually from Microsoft, and there is a QLoRA in 23, which is this year. And one of the big statements in the second article is that there is very little statistical difference between ranks of 8 and 256. So as long as you use rank 8, so here it's 2, but imagine it's 8, you're good. Well, you can go safer and maybe take 16 or 64. I mean, it's still very small in comparison to the total size of the matrix. So here, for example, the model size, 7 billion parameters, 13, 70, 180, right? These are popular sizes of the models. And if you will look at, for example, 64, so it's less than 1%. It's a tiny, tiny fraction of the weights which you have to train during fine-tuning. So this is really great, and increasing it doesn't really help much. So this is justification to keep the number of parameters small and still achieve good results. Another interesting thing, so original LoRa was just about this architecture, and the precision of the numbers was 16-bit. But QLoRa, it deals with the models which are quantized down, and so you have 4-bit numbers, and it's very interesting what they're doing. So they created a special data type called normal float that allows a normal distribution of weights to be compressed from 16-bit floats into 4-bit and then restored back at the end with minimal loss of accuracy. So this is genius, I guess. So anyway, QLoRA allows you to fine-tune the model which was already quantized down, let's say to 4-bit, and that's what we're using, for example, because this allows you to do fine-tuning on desktop. Well, maybe good desktop with good video card. Okay, this slide I had before. I just added AI coding tools like GPT Pilot in Visual Studio Code, GitHub Copilot, Google Duet AI, and JetBrains AI IDEs. overall it's the same. Okay, Hakan Face leaderboard. I don't know what to think about it because the first 14 places, the champions, they all have the same size of 1073. This is a 10.7 billion parameter. This is Llama. They're all Llama based, and they all fine-tuned, and they all 16-bit accuracy. So somehow these models are better on the tests than bigger models like 30-something billion parameters or 70 billion parameters. I think this is cheating. Like how could it be? The only thing I think that the original model or fine-tuning process using the test data for training. So I don't trust the leaderboard anymore. Okay, crowdsourced Arena leaderboard, which you can trust, but unfortunately it was not updated since December 20th. So this is the latest results which are available. And you see GPT-4 is on the first place, Claude on the second place, and then followed by Mistral. And this is GPT 3.5, and this is Gemini Pro. So this is the best Google's model so far. Well, Gemini is also multimodal. It can do a lot of other stuff. But in terms of raw performance on language question answering, you see it's not on the first place. Okay, Mistral Medium is available in early access. And this is one of the videos which shows real-time testing the model, and this is from Mistral, the results comparing GPT-3, Mistral Small, and Mistral Medium, and you see that Mistral Medium is better than GPT 3.5. Well, in this case, it's like, for example, on this one, it's much better, right? But it's still not as good as GPT-4, which is not presented in this, but close. It's getting close. Okay, PromptBench. This is a unified library for evaluating large language models. This is article. This is GitHub. It's coming from Microsoft. And yeah, this is a good tool because after you create the model, you want to evaluate it, and they have the tool set to do that. Okay, Bill Gates, he has a website, gatesnotes.com, and he talks about AI agents, and he talks about what will happen next year, what is important, giving some predictions. So a personal assistant for everyone. Well, everybody talks about that. A lot of progress in healthcare, drug discovery. It's already happening, by the way. Combat antibiotic resistance, treat high-risk pregnancies, developing new foods to save millions of lives from malnutrition. So this, in his view, this is the most important project out of everything. Personalized education, increasing productivity, entertainment, shopping. To create a new app or service, you will just tell your agent what you want, and the agent will do the rest. If your agent needs to check in with you, it will speak to you or show up on your phone. So you get a call from your agent. And this is coming a reality. Privacy and other big questions like data ownership, like we have with New York Times. And the last slide, I really like this picture. This is from one of the tweets. Unfortunately, I don't remember the author, but he cited it from this website. And overall, the outlook is very optimistic. Bad things decreasing, good things increasing, right? So decreasing things, solar panel cost drops down, child labor, hunger, legal slavery, child deaths, HIV infections, and good things increasing. Female leaders You see, countries led by men, 87. How many countries total? I think it's like something like 180. So it's almost half of country leaders are women. Women rights to vote. 195 countries. Okay, total. 2/3 have a phone. So this is a big progress. Harvest per area, births attended, science articles. Okay, this is explosion, like as you can see. Okay, these are all updates for today. I will stop recording.